awkward phase where it's loading. There we go. This meeting's being live streamed. Okay, we are kicking off. I'm here with Parker. My name is Tanisha Davis. I am the owner of Brick by Brick Real Estate. And our mission statement has always been your dreams matter. And we really wanted to put action behind the words. And you are the first participant of our public coaching session. We have Parker here. He owns River Bottom Butterflies. He's one of the largest butterfly suppliers here in Utah. And he is a success coach. And he is going to be taking us through training program. I am new to life coaching. My experience has been listening to podcasts and kind of being a fly on the wall. So I'm really excited to be a participant role. I've got my notepad here. I've got my pen. I'm ready to take notes. The way that we've organized this program is we have the first Tuesday of every month, we have a public coaching course. So that's going to be available to any one of you. It's going to be live streamed through the Brick by Brick Facebook page. So it's live streaming right now. So if you're joining through the live stream, go ahead and write in the comments and I can engage with you inside of the Zoom. There's also links to this exact meeting room. So if you're wanting to join us live, you can do that as well. So the first Tuesday of every month, we're going to do a high level overview of this chaotic mess. I'm just going to show my example, stick it up here. And then every single week for those of you who are a part of the Thrive Network, we'll be deep diving into each of these lessons, breaking them down. But the whole point is to be able to, again, put action behind it, to be able to set a goal, to pursue it. My brief experience of having a life coach, just listening to them has really impacted my life. So I'm excited to turn the time over to Parker. I'm going to go ahead and make him the host here so that way he can take it from here.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanisha. Yeah, let's take that chaos and let's put it into order, right? Let's get it organized. What I love to do is I love to take chaos and organize it into something that can be a skill for you the rest of your life. There's a lot of life coaches out there, and my life's been changed by them. And so the kind of life coach I am is I want to pass on skills to you so that in any situation or in a lot of different situations, you can actually pull from a library of or even like a toolbox of skills that you can use to help in any chaotic situation, right? And I'll go into that and to help organize it, help you have a better direction, a better focus on whatever it is you're working on and trying to accomplish. So let me just share my screen here, get this ready. And I'll just start off by telling a little bit about me. Give me a thumbs up, Tanisha, if you can see my screen.
Organizing. You are good. Have
a better direction, a better focus.
Sorry, I'm live streaming over on the Facebook feed and it started kicking back the audio, but I can see it. We've got Jeff Smith on Facebook. He says, good morning. Good morning, Jeff. And
awesome.
We're good to go.
Okay, so this is me. My name is Parker. I love coaching people. This is me just in my office. You can see behind me are my butterfly nets. And so I've been able to get my company, systemized and run in a way to where that is running. And I can also do what I love to do, which is coaching people. So here's just a little bit about me so you can know as well, or a little bit more about me, some of my credentials. I'm a husband and father of 4 girls. We've tried for a boy, but we might just be stuck with all girls, which I'm super, super tickled and happy about. I've been a business owner and an entrepreneur for 18 years. Now, granted, that goes way back into my teenage years, but I have very rarely worked for other people. And usually when I do, it's like a side job. It's through the winter, being that most of my businesses have been seasonal. And so I've just been around a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, and that's just been my lifestyle forever. And some things that I've seen in there are business owners that get run by their business and business owners that actually own their business. And there's a big difference. I'm also the founder of Utah's first and largest butterfly company. I actually put a logo of it over here, River Bottom Butterflies. We're going on 7 years this next spring. And just in the last 2 years, doubling and tripling our business and our sales and everything has just been awesome. So for 2 years in a row, we've been doing that. This year alone, we raised over 40,000 butterflies. Like, who has done that? That's that's pretty cool. I know when I raised like 10,000 butterflies in 1 year, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Like, I can't believe we raised 10,000 butterflies. And this year we raised 40, and we're looking at doubling that again for this next year in 2023. So this is a little bit about me. And then here's a picture of my family. So we just barely were at the mall and Santa Claus was there. So we all jumped in. We took a big family picture. Super cool because everyone is actually looking at the camera. You know, when you take family pictures with little kids, she could have been crying and bawling that this guy was holding her, but everyone was looking at the camera. It was a really good shot. So here's my wife, Seidel. She loves and supports me through all of my ventures that I've done. And so I love her to death. And then here are my 4 daughters, 4 beautiful daughters. And here's me. So super fun. I'm a family guy, and I know that it's a struggle to run a family, run a business, try and come up with ideas, and and still maintain connection with the most important unit in my life. And so just letting you know that I'm real. I have struggles as well, but how we get through those struggles is a big part of our lives. Okay, so here's a slide that I made that just shows an example, right? And in fact, let me grab my arrow here so I can have an arrow. So here's you. Okay, this is a representation of you. And all these stars are a representation of all the different things that you could go after, that you could work on, that you could try and achieve. And there's just right here I have like 10 or 11 of them, but there's hundreds of things, right? Even in a day, there's so many different things you could go after. The problem is we end up trying to go after all of them, or when you try and end up going after all of them, you end up getting pulled in a million different directions. And I'm going to refer back to this slide over and over, right? Your head looks like this. So when you're being pulled in a million different directions, it's almost like we end up trying to play this balancing game, right? We end up trying to balance our all these different plates. And it's okay to balance 1 or 2 plates. You got business, you got family, you got something else going on, but then you try and add a second business, a second idea, a 5th idea, a 10th idea, and you're going after all those different things. Your plates are going to fall, or you're going to start to drop them, right? So we know that doing this too much, it doesn't work. You've got to maintaining a focus is super, super important. So what are some of these? What could some of these be? Type in the chat box, or Tanisha, jump in and say, what are some of these things that are pulling you in a million different directions? Just so I can be real here and actually give some examples to this, and it's not just
for
theory.
Sure. For me, I play the same role. I have my family, I have Brick by Brick Real Estate. We also own the golf lodge up in Heber. And so there's a lot of different things that need attention, right? Like, you need to put food on the table. You need to be able to do your marketing. So I find myself balancing those plates a lot and trying to think, like, how do I go from all of these different ideas? So if we're just looking at Brick by Brick Real Estate, for example, and looking at those stars that are isolated around there, I'm helping buyers and sellers. So how do I find those? How do I help them better? How do I get more efficient at getting buyers qualified? How do I market? Am I going to use Facebook, Instagram? Should I start a TikTok account? Like all of these different things. And Facebook, the live stream is a little bit slower than we are, so I'll watch out for the chat. So as it catches up, I'll go ahead and chime in what other people suggest. But there's a lot of different distractions, and then it's kind of like, well, if I start that TikTok account, is that going to be the game changer for me, or should I just stick with Facebook or Instagram? Should I go back to email marketing? Should I start door knocking? So it's a lot to work with.
So what I hear you saying is, even just within Thrive, there's like a million different little decisions and little options all over in there.
Absolutely.
Right? So just within Thrive, you were like, hey, Thrive itself is a goal of yours to build, to create, to have it thrive. But then there's all these little decisions of a TikTok, how do I market to people? Should I do a sponsorship? Should I go knock doors? There's all these different decisions. And so they can feel, and with all these different things, it can feel like it's either tearing you apart or it's crushing you. Because if we were to switch the direction of all these arrows, it's like all these different decisions are like coming down on you and they can crush you as a person if you don't know how to, maintain your energy in that. So is that making sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, you going through this, Tanisha, is totally normal. You're a human being, right? We as humans, I think we're given all these options in life just to test us, to see what we're going to do. And I think a ton of us, we choose to do this, right? We're just like, yeah, let's just try and balance all, because all these are stars, negative stock to for your not bad. Marketing's none of it's, but there's so much. How do you, after the organize, how do you yourself in a way like you can't go after this, and then once you get it after this, so here we want to actually focus thing we can grab actually achieve. If we're this, too much, let's put 5 other there. Experience, I can experience of run for businesses and these are good ideas, trying to these different start to plates all the time. I start to family play. I start to, the play in this and this in this and in this, like my outlook just run to be an athlete. Inwardly, this is looks. Or it's just like, it's all over the place. Have you experienced this yet? Anyone else? It's like what's going on. We want to think we're calm and got it under control.
Sometimes the happens coming up, hey, like great, awesome, I'm good way. Because like I'm doing, always change problems. This is stagnant where figure it out and repeat, realizing this is the year fourth hyper and can't be real estate every single market. So just this challenge, like as if the and what I think showing up to progress. I don't want it to look like I want to business. I want it to go direct. This is the right path where I'm and how efficient.
Okay, said it's a market. I'm going to that.
And Jeff too. So he's in was all.
So do a little exercise. Grab a piece of paper, grab a write with on your computer, have like a or something, or just a scratch piece of sticky note. And what I want to do is an writing exercise of this, right? What are the of how it looks like, right? Or and hey, we have yes, or we have a looks like. Okay, so yeah, just to recap this, if this is our head, right? And this is what's going on inwardly and outwardly in our lives, there's certain costs to this. Okay. So first one that I want you to write on your piece of paper. So everyone who's just watching, grab a piece of paper. And even if you're just jumping into this, I want you to write what the costs are. So the first one is time. What is the cost in your time, right? Is it wasting time? You know, is there a certain amount of time? And this could be per day. This could be per week, or even a certain amount of months in the year, even. So how much time is it? And this is your answer. You don't have to share this with anyone unless you want to. I might make share time for those who want it after this. So there's a time cost. Okay, so the next one is a focus cost. You know, focus when you're with your family. Are you like at work still? Or when you're at work, are you like still focused on family problems? What's the focus cost that you're going through? And then just write down your ideas. And then brings us to the next one, which is everyone's favorite, to focus on how much it's costing them. The next one is money. So how much money is it costing you to have just total chaos going on in your head, you know, or trying to balance way too many things, you know, trying to do this with all these different things? How much is that costing you? And maybe, you know, you're not getting out your calculator and calculating, but maybe a number is just flying into your head. Like, oh, it's costing me this much a month. I talked with one of my clients a week ago and asked him how much it was costing him. He was like, per year, per month? And I'm like, any of those. And he's like, well, per month, I think it's this. And it was a huge number. You know, so that just shows right there, like all of us are like, oh, I need more of this. And we've got answers right at our fingertips. But sometimes we keep thinking that it's this star over here that's supposed to get us that, instead of just more focus right here, or just a better skill in this area. So it can be tearing us in two different directions. All right. So after you've got that one, the last one is energy. What's the cost of energy, right? So not energy bill, but just your energy, your personal life. What is the cost? Is it zapping you of your energy? You know, do you have energy to play with your kids and do all the fun things that you're wanting to do? Do you have energy, you know, when you get into work, to do all the different to-dos, the routines, the tasks? Or are you kind of zapped in that area? Okay, so these answers are, if any of these answers are private for you, totally, there's no need to share them. But any of these that you want to share, I'm just going to go through these. And if you do have something where you're like, you want to participate, then feel free. So in the chat box, since everyone is muted, in the chat box, and I think, yeah, I've got it right here. I can just have it open and move that off to the side. Okay, so time. I just want to see where everyone's at. What's your time cost to this? Just to let everyone know that they're not alone, that it's not just a them thing, but that we're all kind of in this together. Okay, writing a monthly dollar amount is eye-opening. So what was, for whoever wrote that, oh, it's Tanisha, what is the money dollar amount? If you want to share it, you don't have to, but you could just say a lot, or you could, there's
like in running a business, you kind of forget about your little expenses. You have a CRM, you might be paying for a phone line, you might be paying for just like the nuts and bolts to be able to exist, right? As a real estate agent, you have your dues, you have your brokerage fees, whatever it may be. And so I kind of forget that those are a part of my expenses because I just think that's a part of my existence. And so each month it's like, okay, what am I going to do this week? What am I doing? And sometimes I get into the mentality of like, well, as long as I'm checking the boxes, as long as I'm progressing, then it's good enough. But being able to like have an actual cost of like, no, actually, if you add up all of these things, it's costing you X amount a month. Do I want to go into that with a mindset of, oh, I'm just going to check the boxes? Or am I going to look at that number and think, why am I spending this amount if I'm not going to take it seriously, if I'm not going to like help progress? And so knowing, how much a month it's costing me to maintain the mindset or the goals or whatever it may be that I have, like it's not for free. Same with all of these, like your time, your focus, your energy, it's not free. Like there are things that are lost that are costing us. We just choose to be, or at least for myself, oblivious to them, like time. Oh, I've got, it's 10 o'clock. I've got all day. I can get to whatever later, or focus, or all of these different things.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. There's so many people where they're like, they start a business or they run a family even, and it's just, they think the same thing, right? Like, oh, this is just part of my existence. And so we don't really look at it. We don't really track it. We don't really like make it a focus, right? It's just kind of there. And then, through something like this exercise, it kind of opens our eyes to like, no, actually, there's a big dollar amount there that we need to like grab control of, that we need to own. Instead of this owning us, we need to own it. And if we do that, then we can have more control over it. Okay, so awesome. Super eye-opening. Can you see how this could be helpful for literally anyone running a business, running a family? Just, it's super, super helpful. Okay. And then there's also the, the focus of like family time, right? Your kids are only kids for a certain amount of years, for a certain amount of time, and then they're gone. And if you like lost your focus of gaining connection and whatnot with them, that just kind of continues. Time just keeps ticking by, right? It's already December in 2022, and it feels like the pandemic was like 3 weeks ago, and or last month, and here we are going into 3 years later here by next month. And so time just keeps ticking by. Where is it that we're spending our life? And so great eye-opening exercise. Thank you everyone for participating in that. All right, so what have we put together really, or what have I put together here with Tanisha? So in my coaching program, there's 3 areas that we really focus on. And, a lot of it has to do with our past experiences. So here's another question for you guys. How many of you, by the raise of hand button, unless you don't know how to do that, just type in the chat box, me. How many of you set a New Year's resolution? Just go in the chat box and be like, hey, I totally did. Go in the chat. Well, you're almost over to me.
No, I'm still stuck in Christmas mode. I'm like tunnel vision to Christmas.
Okay, so for this one, it's the year of 2022. Who set a New Year's resolution in January of 2022? All right. And then my next question is, 2022. Did you and then achieve that. Did you? And I'm hearing an echo, Tunisia. So I don't know if something is causing that, but so I don't know. But I can still push past it. Okay, so you didn't get your New Year's resolution, like that's a past experience that could actually just turn into a behavior. Like, let's say your New Year's resolution was, man, I'm gonna go to the gym every day. And then you get to like day 7, you miss a day, you try and keep going, and by by the first 3 weeks, then you're done and you realize you haven't gone back to the gym in, 9 months. And so what's going to happen is they don't really focus on that. They don't really look at that. And so they just jump right into future goals of like, oh, I'm going to be better. I'm going to set another goal this January and I'm going to go to the gym every day. And they like set even a better goal or a bigger goal. But their current behavior is they fall off track after 3 weeks of setting a goal. And so what we want to do is actually like look at your past experiences, not to beat yourself up, but to find what some of those problems are. And so that when we set future goals, we're actually like achieving them. We're actually going after them. We're actually able to get that item. If you're into mindset techniques, if you have a vision board or a goal board, you're able to get that item off your vision board. You're able to achieve that goal. You're able to hit that milestone in your New Year's resolution, and that becomes a behavior, right? Of like getting your goals, getting the things that you want, having more focus. But your current behavior might not reflect that. So super, super important to go over these 3 areas. And the next slide I'm going to show you it outlays that. It's almost like a life map. I'm going to share that with you here. This is in our, let me grab my arrow from here. So this is in the welcome video on the Thrive Network. We go over this. This is a really in-depth training that I've been getting for almost 3 years from a company called 3 Key Elements with Kirk Duncan. He came up with this. I've just been deep in training with him about it on how to change people's lives. And usually what a coach will do is they'll give you a lot of information. They'll give you a lot of what could be, but through this, and that's not everyone, but through this, we actually go through 8 different points of your life, right? And all of these have a meaning. All of these have a purpose because they're how you run your life. And by us getting this organized, it helps us to understand if our life is looking like this, there's so many options. How can we not be spinning all these different plates? And how can we have, not have our head all totally chaotic and unorganized? But really, how can we put our life into a map with certain points where if there's a problem, if there's something going on, we can know right where to point ourselves, right? Is it this right here? Is it this? And so for this next month, I'm going to walk through the 3 points of this, because every month I'm going to go over 3 points. Over the next 3 months, we'll run over all of this and organized it for you. Gone through skills, gone through these things. And I'll explain that here a little bit more, but let me go with this first. So if we have some things around, this is like, I gotta put this off to the side because I got a bunch of stuff in the way. So if this is you, okay, and you're living your life, there's certain things that you want, right? And we're going to call those point Bs, okay? So there's a point B that you want to get to. You also have other point A's, right? Which is current results you already have. Okay, so those are in your past, current achievements, current or past achievements. So there's things that you want, there's things that you have, okay, and you're kind of stuck here in the middle. But the third thing is that we're going to be talking about this month is the direction you're going or what you've tried to get all these different things. So you're part of the equation no matter what. Over the next month, I've got worksheets prepared for you here in Tunisia's Thrive Network, where we're going to go over all three of these areas and really break them down, get them organized, and find out why have you achieved? Like, what did you do to achieve what you've gotten? And see, stars are like there's multiple stars. There's lots of things that we achieve. But then a lot of us, we have other things that we want to get and things that we're trying to do to get there. Maybe they're new things. Maybe there's things we haven't even tried. We should to get there. But this is something that you haven't gotten yet. So you could just call that a goal. Call it a goal, a wish, a point B. And all of us are moving towards something. Right? We're all moving towards something. But what can happen is let's say this right here. Let's say this is just like huge and massive to us. It feels like it's like this big. And we're looking at our past and we're going, hey, I've only really achieved, little things like these over here. We're going to get overwhelmed that we can't grab onto this new thing. And so we'll have this other arrow, you could say, that's taking us back to, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just settle for what we already have, for what we've already accomplished. Maybe I should just go for, maybe I should just stay with this. So a big problem that people do is they set this huge, gigantic goal. It's just, and so one thing that we're going to focus on, and big goals are not bad. I'm done. Sorry. Big goals are not bad. Sorry, this is getting all kind of messed up. Figure out what my controls are in there. Big goals are not bad, but if they overwhelm you and you don't achieve them, then they just become giant wishes that, 10, 20, 30 years later, you're like, yeah, I wish I would have, I wish I could have gotten that. I didn't know how, or I couldn't. So 3 areas of life we're going to be going over here over the next month by joining Tunisia's platform. And I will go over that here in a minute. But if
you've got Siles raising her hand before you shift.
I think she raised her hand when I asked a question like, hey, who's had this? So yeah, she just took her hand down. But if you do have something to say, just type it in the chat box or even in the Q&A. But I have a chat box open right here. If someone has something they want to jump in or ask a question, totally feel free. That way I'm like relaying this directly to you, and I'm not just like, hey, here's my experience, and maybe yours is a little different.
Yeah. One thing I want to say about point B, that goal and setting big goals, I think one of the key things that you said was that it doesn't overwhelm you. Because I feel like I come from the mindset of like, heck, I'm going to shoot for the stars. And if I land on the mountain, like that's a good consolation prize to be able to like really push myself to get to that higher point. And so I don't know, is it bad to set a goal that maybe not be realistic, but can like drive you if it's all in the same direction?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you want to do though is this. So let me go over this and see if this answers your question. Okay, so if this is you, right, and you are like, hey, I want to go for this goal over here, what happens is there's all this chaos that ends up happening that you could get stuck in and never actually achieve this. Right? And you're like, oh, well, hey, at least I got all the way to this point and I achieved this goal here. Maybe I achieved this one right here. So I shot for the stars, but I landed on the mountain. Are you okay with that? You have to ask yourself that question. What I want to do is take our life looking like this to looking more like this. So that way, if you do shoot for the mountain, you could say, or shoot for this really big, awesome goal, what you're doing is, or what I would recommend that you do, and what we're going to be doing this little in our program together, is you actually set little goals that just keep you on track, that keep you steadily moving towards. So maybe you have a giant goal, Tanisha, that you want to achieve by the end of next year, right? So this is, your goal, your point B, you want it by December of 2023. What's your January goal? How can you stay on track to get your January goal? What's your first quarter goal? And how can you make sure you stay on track to get that? And then after that, you just keep doing that all the way to where you are achieving goals that are in the exact same realm that you're, like, in the exact same plane, I guess you could say, or direction. That's a better word. So goals that are in the exact direction that you want so that you get to your point B. This could be even, here's where I'm really going to be focusing here over the next month during our trainings, is exactly what you said, or it ties in really well, Tanisha. You said every week is a new market. And so you're having to make adjustments, you're having to do, make changes, do things every single week so that you're staying in the flow of your business. In setting a goal, if you had a yearly goal and you revisited it quarterly, you're going to revisit the goal 4 times in a year, which is going to give you the option like, course correcting, pivoting, all those different things of like, okay, it's, first quarter and, falling just a little bit short of our goal. Okay, what do we need to do to course correct? And then you make that course correct. So you're going to have 4 times throughout the year that you would be doing that. Whereas what if every single week you had a goal that kept you on track, and every day you had your course corrections, or you had your mini focuses, so that you were getting this, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, and boom, you got your goal. And like things that keep you on track to progress you straight towards this. I've noticed a lot of times people, when they have too many goals or their goal is too huge, what they'll do is they'll be like, man, I don't even know if I can get that goal. And so they'll start setting all these other little goals that are just all over the place. And it's like they feel like they're achieving stuff, but then they get to the end of the year and it's like, I made my goal halfway. It could be, you get to decide, is that good enough for you? Are you okay with that? If you're okay with that, then cool. But if you're like, no, I actually really do want to stay on track and get this. I want this to be in my hands, and I want to be super happy and excited.
Sure.
Right. So doing things that keep you from looking like this to looking like this. And are there going to be like little bumps and little things that happen? Absolutely. That's a part of life. But then you've got your markers to stay on track. And part of this is what we've put together, which is like having a team, where you have a team come in and be like, hey, Tanisha, you are getting lost in the weeds. I think you need to focus and get back on to what it is you're wanting to do. And so you end up building a team of people that help support you and help you every step of the way. So that's what we're doing here in having a group coaching session, having group coaching together with Thrive. So here, there's 2 different options, basically, that we're going to be putting together, that we have already put together for the Thrive Network, or for Tanisha's team, is have group coaching, which is going to be weekly group trainings. So we'll meet together kind of like this as a group where everyone's able to ask questions. You're able to like, hey, I feel like my life is looking like this. What are some ideas? What are some suggestions? And I'll be giving training on that. But then you'll also have a team of people to be accountable to that's going to help you keep on track.
Like when you say team, I don't want people watching this thinking like, oh, he's referencing Tunisia's like real estate team or company team, or whatever. Like this team is the community that we're building right now. Like the reason why this is public, the reason why we have, 20 random people watching this on Facebook Live is because we're all in the same boat of pursuing dreams. And with Brick by Brick Real Estate, our mission statement is your dreams matter. So my team and what we're referencing are those who are looking to reach that goal. And if it's affiliated with real estate and you're like, hey, I would really like to buy a house. I know the market is crazy, or at least that's what people say, but 2023, like that's my goal. Then you are a part of our team reaching that goal. And maybe you're on the opposite end. You're like, I just want to be a better mom. Like, what does that look like? I want to be able to establish relationships, make connections. And so with those that are a part of that team and a part of that accountability, if you're watching this, your invitation to join the team has been extended. And so we're looking to be able to help progress towards those dreams, to reach those goals and to make it happen.
Thank you, Tunisia. I appreciate that. Okay, so just to recap what Tunisia was saying, right? We've got, we want you to reach your goals, whether it's business, family, personal, recreational, whatever it is. The team is all of us together, right? Like I'm a life coach, Tunisia is a real estate agent, and someone else is a mom or a dad, and we've got all these different people. We're all here, but we're all going our own direction, which is forward to our point B's. So if one person is getting is struggling, getting hiccuped with, let's say, home life, there's something all three can relate to and can share their insights about what they've done in order to get through that problem, get through that struggle. So yes, thank you. It's not just brick by brick, real estate team that's going to help you get there. It's like Tunisia is wanting to build a big team of people that just want to achieve stuff. They just want to have better focus, better time, better quality of life with their family, whatever it is they're working on. So awesome. Okay, so what we're doing here is in Thrive, we're put together a weekly group training that lasts for 3 months. Tunisia will go over a lot more details as well. And what we want to do is help you achieve faster progress towards your goals. Faster progress, better focus, and a lot of the life skills that I have learned that I've applied, I'm wanting to pass those on in any way I can that's helpful. This group coaching. I also do one-on-one coaching with people. And the only difference is that's training modified directly to you. And it can go on, it can be ongoing for as long as you want. And it's just one-on-one help to get your goals. So that's something I always offer. This is what I do. I've put this group coaching together because a lot of people, they may not be ready for one-on-one coaching, but being together in a group, there's super big progress that can be made. Okay, so here's a little insight to what I do, what I like to focus on. Let me grab an arrow here. Let's see, where's the arrow? Okay, so I focus on transformation. I love focusing on what's going on inside of us that's either causing us to, stay where we're at or to actually achieve the things we're going after, the things that we want. So I focus on transformation that needs to happen inside of us in order to see better results in our life. Information is simply not enough, right? If you're having a problem and you look it up on Google, like, hey, how do I do this? Sometimes it's just information just isn't enough. It comes through application, right? And when we try and apply a lot of those things we reach overwhelm, and that happens so often. So what I do is I help you focus in the right areas, and you get to choose to make the change. You feel like your life is kind of slow and you're stuck somewhere like a caterpillar on a plant somewhere, in the world. It takes transformation to give yourself more options, to give yourself more opportunity. Going from a caterpillar it can't really go very far, very fast, to a butterfly that can fly halfway around the world, or 1,500 miles a month. That takes a huge jump. And what I've found in my butterfly business, 7 years of running river bottom butterflies, is there's an inward transformation that happens. This butterfly is formed on the inside. It's not just a caterpillar that grows wings. It actually goes through a complete transformation. And so that's what our program is going to focus on, is what's going on the inside that can help us move towards our goals, and then actually take outward steps. So there's inward and there's outward that we're going to be focusing on. And I just cap that, right? So right here, past, future.
I wanted to talk about, before you switch slides, when we first talked, I don't know, you asked me a question and we were talking about this transformation process, and you mentioned, how many, with a butterfly, how many miles can they migrate? You're saying thousands and thousands of miles, right? Yeah. And I think about that, and I'm that would literally be impossible for a caterpillar to do. It would die. If it had its whole lifetime, there's no way it's covering that type of ground there. And in looking at, I think there's a lot of butterflies that we can see, even on social media. You've got, Tony Robbins, you've got, any big name person, right? And they have all these programs. They're like, hey, I'm a butterfly. This is how you become a butterfly. And here's all the steps to repeat what I'm doing. And even in my own personal experience, each year I go to EXPCon for real estate conference, and you are in the audience of these caterpillars who just transformed into butterflies over the past year. And just last year, I was in that seat and I went through this transformation, and now I'm here. And it's not just oh, I doubled my business, I tripled my business. No, I've completely changed the way that I'm doing it, where these people are on, the big stage or whatever it may be. And so I'm looking at them okay, they can do that, I can do that, right? I want to be a butterfly. I want to be able to have that own transformation. And then it comes down to that chaos of okay, what do I do? How do I get there? And it's not, like you said, about growing wings. It's not something that you grow into. I think it's developing and realizing that I can't act the way that a butterfly does and start implementing those traits on a caterpillar level for myself and reap the same rewards, because I haven't earned that transformation. I think for me, I get caught up in looking at that end goal and starting there. Okay, we're going to start right here. And it doesn't work. And so seeing this process and going through it so many times and seeing that application is so important. I mentioned at the beginning, I've been listening to the Life Coach School podcast. Highly recommend it. It's great for the past year. I actually found it this Christmas time last year. She was doing some sort of short series special. And so I went through her little program. I loved it. I'm I'm going to start all the way back at the beginning. But I think I'm now listening into 2017, 2016, but it's been so impactful. And now on year 2 of her business, it shifts into application. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to cover. So that way you're not just listening, you're applying. And the same thing is being replicated here in the sense of, you can be a fly on the wall, you can be listening to this, and you can be taking notes and applying it, and it will benefit you. But I think the transformation piece is that application. So it's taking me a year to get to the point where I realize that I can't start acting like a butterfly or be at that end goal to get there. It's impossible for me. I need to start at the beginning and kind of earn my right to have my own transformation and to do that through application. So I'm really excited for this program.
Yeah, thank you, Tunisia. You said it exactly. And so if a butterfly, let's just go back to that, because everyone loves butterflies and stuff. If there's chaos going on in here, it can't become this. It can't transform for that day. Now, we All right. So we as humans have like 100 million times the potential of a butterfly. They get one shot at this whole process. They get one shot, but we get to wake up every single day and decide, are we gonna be organized? Are we gonna do what we say we're gonna do? And so, if there's restructure, or let's just say organization, if there's organization going on in your head, you're gonna organize into something. If there's chaos going on in your head, you're gonna stay this way. And a lot of people, when I ask them, like with zero training, like what I've done today, if I say, hey, all of us go through this where we're a caterpillar, we feel stuck on a branch somewhere, and then we go through this transformation process inwardly to become a butterfly and start achieving things. Where do you think you're at? And I'm not kidding. 9 out of 10 people, they're like, oh, I'm right here. Yeah, I'm right here. I'm like so close to this. And I think from a life coach perspective, the reason people say they're right here is because they haven't quite reached the point where they feel like they're able to go and achieve stuff. They're able to fly around and go from being stuck to flying 3,000 miles in a matter of just a couple weeks. Everyone gets stuck right here, and I want to help people get unstuck in their life. I want to help people organize this. What's going on in your life? What's going on in your head? That we can organize so that this just naturally happens. This just happens naturally. It's not forced. It's not like someone else is making you do it. This will automatically happen when you're organized, and that's something I've seen in my own very life with my company, with my marriage, with my connection with other people. When I'm better organized, better results happen. Okay, so not to be cut forever, but I felt like that was important to share. Okay, something we will go over. Any questions? Actually, we have 5 more minutes before we need to be done. So if there's any questions, please type it in the chat box. I'm just reading the chat box right here. Any questions? Just type it in the chat box. I want to hear your questions. I want to see if I can answer anything before we hop off. I think we're only planning on going to 45 minutes, and we're at 55. So as long as it takes. Give you a second. If you have anything, type it in there. If not, I'll just go ahead and kind of finish this off. But in Thrive, okay, I'm going to share this. In Thrive, when you log in, go to this one first. It's going to be these events. So once a month, on the first Tuesday of each month, we're going to have an event right here on the Thrive page. If you click on this event, it'll show you the current events going, and it'll be the very top one here every Tuesday. Sorry, on the first Tuesday of every month, where this is a public overview, right? Where I'll just be giving information on what it is we're going to be learning this month, little tips and tricks on what it is that you can do to help to become organized and to help yourself move forward. But if you are part of the program, or if you jump in with Tanisha and she give more information on that, jump in on the group coaching here. And what we're going to have is homework that you can download right here. So if you click on topics, those of you that are familiar with this page here, if you click on topics, these pop up, and right here, success coaching deliverables is where you can download the homework for that week. So this week, what you're going to do is go here. Those of you who have access to this, go here, and you're going to download week 1 homework, and then do that throughout the week, because there's things in there that are going to get your wheels spinning, that are going to get your juices flowing, so that when we meet for our first week 1 lesson, you've got things going for you already, and we're not starting off with a dry. So super important to do, and it's not a super big time alignment. It's more just getting your brain pointed in a particular direction kind of activity. So it's not like, hey, homework that's like math to take you 2 hours to finish all these math homework. More of like, thoughts-provoking questions that point you in a particular direction, so that when we jump in and have our lesson one, when we just jump back here, it all makes sense. Lesson one is going to be point B, right? And that's what it is you're going after. What is that direction that you want? And we want you to brainstorm this, think about it, because maybe you do have currently, maybe you have like 50 different directions you could go. And you're just like, I don't know. I don't know what I want. And so in the homework, there's an activity to help you get all of it out of your head on paper so that it can be organized. So that, you're not continuing every day going, okay, I heard Parker told me to get more organized and have my brain in more of like a step mode. I'm just going to do it myself. There's plenty of do-it-yourselfers, which I've been one forever, for way too long. And joining a team of people that are able to help me and support me in action steps to actually straighten it out and organize it has been super, super helpful, completely life-changing. Because we want you to be jumping up and grabbing the stars. We want you to be achieving.
Okay, Facebook does not like me today, but we just finished our first public session for Thrive Success Coaching. I'm so glad for everyone who was able to attend. I'm sorry it was a little bit glitchy. We kept getting kicked off the live stream. So I'm going to compile all of the micro pieces and upload them to our YouTube channel. So I'm going to share my screen just so you can see exactly how to navigate everything, what the goals are, and all of that good stuff. So if you go to YouTube, which the screen share is so helpful, here we are. We have our playlist here. If you go to Brick by Brick, if you search Brick by Brick Real Estate, you'll find our page. There is Thrive Brick by Brick. And this is so far as our welcome video. So after today, there'll be a second video, which will show all of today's training. Always in the Facebook Live, I'll include the link to join us. And so the join live Zoom call more than likely is not going to go down. I hope to figure out all the technical difficulties in between, but you're welcome to join the call directly. For those who attended and missed the overview, because I know it cut off, I just took a quick screenshot. This is really informal. Of the overview of this process that we're looking to follow. So in today's public session, we talked about point B, our desired results, where we're going, what we're looking to achieve, and where our goals and dreams are. We also talked about our current wins or results or things that we've already accomplished, and 3, the action that we're taking to get those results. So as you can see, there's a bunch of other numbers to dive into, and what the program is that we've created is each month, the first Tuesday of every month, we'll be doing a high-level overview, engaging into this process to be able to reach your dreams. Those who want to be able to apply it and implement it into what they're doing, I want to invite you to our Thrive platform. If you message me directly, I can give you login information. And when you log in, I'm going to show you what it looks like so you know how to navigate. So when you first go there, okay, here we go. If we go to Thrive Brick by Brick, it'll take you to this home feed. If you go over into topics, it's going to break down all of our live session recaps. So not only is this session going to be available because this is a public session, but it'll also be in live session recaps here. We also have the collaboration board where we're going to be able to engage and collaborate with each other and support each other there. And then there's deliverables. So because we did an overview of those 3 points, Tuesday of next week, we have a private coaching session, and it's going to go over into our end goals. So you're going to want to come over here into deliverables, and you're going to see the homework that you can download. You're going to be able to see all of the information for the worksheets. If you haven't done the welcome video, that's here, but this is everything you need to do this week to prepare. So that way, as we're doing this live session next week, you are ready to actually apply it into your life. If you go over here to events, you'll notice this says live. This is live because this is a live event happening right now from the first one. So we have our public coaching session. This is live. You'll notice here we have each of the private ones. So if you click on these, you're going to be able to see all the details of what we're covering. It's going to link to the homework. It's going to link to all the information, and then that will put us into January 3rd, which I'd like to invite all of you who aren't a part of this network to join us publicly. And on that one, we'll be going over the next 3 points. So if you think of our public sessions here as a high-level overview of this process of how it can apply and help you grow, and then each week deep diving into those points to actually apply it and implement it, so that way at the end of the period, you can reach that end result. So if you are following us on Facebook at BBB Real Estate, message me. I would love to talk with you. And all of the information will be live streamed to the Brick by Brick channel. I'll download it after, and it will be available on YouTube for all of the public sessions. And then it will be there with live session recaps for anyone who's a part of the Thrive Network. So thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you next week. And let me know if you have any questions. We'll see ya.